Here we go. Greetings. It's September. It's not letting me do that. Orientation's locked. Hold on, everybody. I want to do it this way. It's locked. It's not letting me. All right, that's the way that it is. Is that enough? Can we get, let's back it up a little bit here.
Is it working? Oh, it is.
It is live. What's up, guys? We're going to do some live coming straight from Sunday recording ASMR style. But I'm here with a super interesting, intelligent human being who always has plenty of interesting things to say and who has had great results with the digestive gut cranial stuff. And so this is the first time that I've ever been live on chiropractic medicine. Been live many times before on channel 2, channel 3, also a lot of live content coming in 2026. But right now, this is Chiropractic Medicine, the first ever live coming to you while recording an ASMR session with one of our frequent returners here, Ivy. This is our third or fourth, I'm not exactly sure.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but one of our best digestive gut unblockings came from a session with you. And it went super viral and it's been wild.
Really?
Yeah, because you had great results with it and you came back and you were like, you actually came back, it was from the first time you came, and then you came back and you were like, years ago after you worked on me there, and I've been breathing so much better. And so that was a great testimonial and it's worked out really well, so thanks for that.
Yes, of course.
And of course, Ivy knows what to say because she is a massage therapist and she's incredibly bright and she's a great problem solver. I mean, I know a lot of intelligent people, doctors and scientists and shit. People like that. And but Ivy, it just has this raw, natural wit and she just solves problems. Now, I can't see any questions over there because my eyesight is like 42 years old and like I just can't make out what those words are. So if you're asking questions and giving love, thank you very much. I appreciate that. If there are some questions, I'll check out the feed at the end. I love answering questions, so whatever's happening. But otherwise, we're gonna dive into some gut release. First, actually, I have to do the pubic bone manipulation. So let's do that first. Go ahead and squeeze my fist in between your knees. Now put your knees back up. All right, squeeze my fist. That was that, right?
I felt it, I heard it.
Okay, very good. Okay, we always start off with the pubic bone manipulation. Now, we just had some great neck and back. We already did the neck and back cracking. Don't worry, that video is coming. And that's always the preview, or excuse me, it's like the that's the warm-up before we get to some of this work, which is a lot heavier when you have digestive issues or when you have hormonal imbalances. So a couple hormonal imbalances symptoms that we started with today. We have some just slight increased acne in chest face area. And was there another? Oh yeah, tenderness of the mammary glands.
Yes.
So a little bit of a different feeling in her body, the way that it's expressing itself recently over the past couple months, indicating hormonal imbalances. Now, we've had some other conversations about diet. Maybe there's some diet things going on there. And typically, I'm not looking to balance hormones by doing gut and visceral organ manipulations. However, I'm always looking to balance the nervous system, and the nervous system is always what does the work and what always does the healing, because your body is infinitely intelligent. My adjustments and my work is just like, is nothing. I mean, like, chiropractors are geniuses, they are, body workers are geniuses, but the real intelligence is the design that's been evolving since, you know, thermonuclear explosions in the sky hundreds of millions of miles away, and then like organic life forms from 4 billion years ago, until eventually we can have conversations and create devices that we can have conversations over the entire planet, which is an amazing thing.
It is.
And so we're sharing and expressing knowledge and sharing and expressing what is our experience of the realm. Yeah, so we were just getting into, we're dipping our toes into talking about this simulation. You know, what is actually going on here? We're just on a rock flying through outer space, and it's wild that we're even able to have these conversations, not only one-on-one with people, the fact that we can actually just look at each other and just be like, my name's Brent. Like, we just had this thing, we're just doing it all the time. But the fact that we're doing it like this now, only within the past decade or two, is what a wild time to be alive.
It is a great time to be alive, though.
Okay, you know, speaking of the simulation, it's, you know, this is actually when we did live talks on my second channel. Even though I wanted it to be very medicine based, like ask me questions about back pain and posture. We never happened, right? It always it always sunk into a deep shamanic feel where we were just like talking about the symbolic nature of the universe and how things appear to us in our experiences and what is the meaning and purpose of all this, because meaning and purpose is a great thing to talk about. And so we talked about fox medicine earlier, and so that's kind of fox medicine is like, you know, like I have a tie on and I'm a chiropractor and stuff like that, and that's all real. It's valid. These are real things, but like there's this underneath tone to it. And so anyway, the underneath tone has all been, I could say recent, but in 2022. The Nobel Prize for Physics was won by these three guys, one from the United States, one from France, one from somewhere else, I forget. And they were working at CERN, you know, the place where the particle accelerator in Switzerland.
Okay. Yeah.
And so like these like brilliant human minds are doing these complex scientific equations, and they proved mathematically that we live in a quantum field. That's just it. We live in a quantum holographic field where our thoughts and our non-physical reality are interacting with physical reality all the time. Like you said it a couple of times where you're like, God loves me. And like, to be a little bit more, I mean, like, yes, true, but also like the mirror of that is you love you. And so like when you have that self-love and when you have that God love and you just expect the universe to always take care of you, that's interacting with the quantum realm in a popular, positive way, so to speak. And so, you know, so these physicists at CERN, they won the Nobel Prize because they were proving things that they had been trying to solve these equations since the 60s, okay? Decades go by until finally 2022 is where they're just like, yeah, we got it. You know, we live in a quantum field. We can call it a simulation. It is basically the Matrix. Like, I can't say for sure whether or not it's like humans eventually create AI and then robots take us over and then all of a sudden we're just being harvested for our energy. Like, true, that could be it. We don't know. We're in the Matrix. We don't know. But consciousness itself is very much a matrix. And Plato talked about that with the allegory of the cave. We're talking thousands of years ago. And so it's not a new idea. It's not a new thought to know that this only has some truth to it. You know what I mean? But we do know, you're a body practitioner as well. So we do know that like, okay, well, this is how it feels. And then I do a thing and then you're like, it feels different now. You know, we crack the back and wow, that feels different now. We can explain it. We hook people up to brains and MRI machines, all this stuff. We've done all the science work because the simulation is very, it's very convincing, the simulation. Like, no matter how far out into space we look, no matter how deep into our own cellular environment we look, we just keep seeing the same patterns emerge again and again and again. So the simulation is already, the simulation knows that we're gonna try and figure it out. And so it wasn't until recently into the quantum physics world where we're looking at particles and we're going, okay, when we look at it, it's a thing. But when we look away, it's a wave, okay? It's a double slit experiment is what the famous physicist experiment says. Is that like, when you look at something, it's a particle, falls into reality. When you look away, it's a wave. And so like, it's a wave of possibility. And it's not until you pay attention to it that it collapses and forms reality. So the wave collapses into physical particulate reality.
Interesting.
Okay? So anyway, chiropractic is great too. And I like to do that stuff as well. And so, hold on, where was I going to go with that? Oh yeah, so that's why it's really important in scientific research studies. That's why we do double-blind placebos, is because like when someone knows that they're getting a placebo, it doesn't work, you know what I mean? And it also doesn't work when the doctor knows they're giving the placebo. So double-blind is, single-blind is, patient doesn't know they're getting a placebo. Why would we tell the patient, okay? Of course they don't know. They think they're getting medicine. But the doctor doesn't even know that they're giving a placebo. The doctor just goes, here you go. I don't know if this is a placebo or not. The patient doesn't know. They're just taking it and then marking down what happens. And so that is a very finite example. You know, it's physical. You can touch the example. That's why we use placebos in research studies. And so, you know, there's fantastic research that's been done with chiropractic. There's fantastic research that's been done with massage. But there has not been extensive randomized controlled trials with gut work, which is why you don't see a lot of it. Partially it's because Big Pharma is really who creates all the RCTs. You know what I mean? It costs a lot of money to do research, okay? And so there's just not a lot of money in massage and chiropractic and osteopathy unless you're doing surgeries, you know, or orthopedics unless you're doing surgeries. I mean, those things have big money behind them. But like chiropractic very quietly produces its research every year. Massage therapy very quietly produces its research every year, and like they're doing their thing. But this is one of the most unknown things that people are doing. Actually, when I say people, I mean me. Okay, there's no one else on YouTube who does this. I don't know anyone else who does this besides my mentor in Harrisburg, who's like 80 years old, and he's the one who taught me all this stuff. And he's a genius, you know what I mean? He's 82 years old, and he's just like doing all this magic all day long. And I like just happened to discover him. Just happened, you know what I mean? But and that's a problem because more people need to be doing this. More chiropractors, more massage therapists, and there are massage techniques like Lomi Lomi is the Hawaiian one, right? So there are definitely massage. I'm not the only person in the world who's doing this. Obviously, there's other techniques. There's this guy named Jean-Pierre Barrel. He's this French guy. He wrote a couple textbooks about it. It's very popular in Europe to do organ manipulation. But more people need to be doing it, and more chiropractors, more body workers, and even, I think, lay people. I don't want to say lay people, but like a man and a woman at home, like a husband and a wife, or a husband and a husband, wife and wife, it doesn't matter. Like partners, people at home, like they could do this to each other because this can be very soft and very gentle and still very helpful at the same time. And I know that there's a bunch of amateurs out there who love to watch chiropractic and massage videos, and they try it on their family members, and they, you know, they like kind of cut, they like, it's funny, they come in, a lot of times couples come in, I see a lot of couples, they come in, and the girl will always like rat him, she'll be like, he cracks my back, you know what I mean? And he's like, well, you know, only this one, and that's okay. To do a couple of the moves. I would love to do videos to show couples, yeah, this is what you guys can do to each other. Like they say the Trojan army was one of the best, most powerful armies because they used to give each other massages before battle. Oh, wow. And like the night before battle. And they probably gave each other other things too because back then it wasn't like, you know what I mean? But that's a different story for a different time. And so the idea here is this, is that like this live that we're doing right now, which is doing very well, is part of an ongoing opening up experiment to be more in touch with people who are interested in this kind of work, even if it's just for, of course I would like to do more professional teaching. Everyone knows I teach professional seminars, but even for people who are out there just like, wow, your girlfriend or your wife has stomach issues or issues with her period or whatever it is, like you can be very gentle and have very safe, effective maneuvers and manipulations happening at home.
Yes.
Whew, okay, that was nice. That was good. That was a nice little rant there. Okay, I'm done for now. All right. Do you have anything that you want to add to that?
Ooh. I mean, I always have stuff to add. What should I add?
I don't know. Let's see. Let me start working, and then we'll see what shows up. Always.
Sounds great to me. It always shows up.
Yeah, that's a very shamanic thing, is to see what shows up. You know, just being present in the moment, and to allow the moment to reveal itself. So, okay, put your legs down, please. All right. Sorry if the sound sucks too, by the way, because I haven't gotten the microphone situation for live videos yet, but. Live videos in the future, memberships in the future, more teaching in the future, but this is the right now. So, let's start off with some of the pressure points, okay? This is called 6-point. You're gonna see 6 different points here. I'm gonna do the very basic aspects of these points so that it's applicable. Okay, we're gonna start off with the gallbladder liver. So we start off with the right hand, because gallbladder is on the right side of the body. And we're gonna find the point in between the thumb and the finger. Have you done this since I showed it to you?
I have not, no.
You haven't done the reflex points? Have you done any diaphragms or digestive work?
I've just done reflex. I did lines. I do reflex and some diaphragm work as well.
Okay.
All abdominal. I love doing abdominal work. It's very, very good for more than one thing. Like lymphatic stuff, organ stuff.
Okay. Have you done any diaphragm work recently that you may have already told me about? You wanted to tell me that story while we went on. I was telling me that later. We were on live. Go ahead.
Oh, my client that had scoliosis, veteran. So he comes in to get his work done, but I was like, I had to flip him over to work on his gut because I could just tell it looked very inflamed, looked very, very painful. And after his session, I could just see how much better his like stomach looked, and he just looked better and felt better. And he really got a lot out of the session. Like a lot of my clients with abdominal work, they get so much out of it, especially with the low back pain and all that kind of stuff. And they're just surprised that the gut holds as much tension as it really does.
Cool. Okay, good story. Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of low back and gut stuff happening for sure. All right, so for technique practice, okay, you definitely on videos you see me jump in and you see me grabbing these. You see me grabbing this. Before I go any further, I just want to check real quick and make sure the sound is on. See, make sure that people aren't like, there's no sound. Let's see. This is exactly what I always do to drain. Okay, good. Mine removed as a draining, so we're good. I'm still taking fish. Okay, good. All right, so it sounds like you guys can hear me. So that's good.
Awesome.
Is she hungry? All right. All right, so now as far as technique application is concerned, of course, during videos, you guys always see me just jump in here and I just grab things, right? It's because I already have a touch because I've already done this for so long. But if you're doing this for the first time, all you have to do is communicate and say what you're going to do. That's the way that you get through this. And so like, all right, so I'm gonna start off with this pressure point in your hand, okay? Right, always check in with people. Just, all right, how's this pressure? Is that okay? Okay, and then when you come into this point, you'll be able to feel like a ropey, fatty, soft, mushy feeling. It's just different. When it's clear, it doesn't feel like that. When it's not clear, you feel something in there and you know that it's tender. That's tender, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so when it's tender and you feel that it's mushy and you say, okay, is that pressure okay?
It is good.
Okay, is that good too?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're squeezing firmly, okay, you don't have to squeeze your hardest, but when you're squeezing firmly and you have that grip over the squishiness, then you can just like roll it around. Like we want to release this first. This is the pressure point. This is the end point, okay? So if you have a bunch of digestive stuff going on, your body's working on it here in the gut, but like the overflow will end up in different parts of the body. And so we always start with, you want to go further away from. You don't want to go where it's on fire. You don't want to start touching things that are on fire. You want to start off with the periphery. Okay, so we start there, and then when you get into that pressure point, it'll start to release just from working on the thumb. Now, it's a little bit complicated to try to find the gallbladder or the gallbladder meridian, but the easiest thing to do is to just probe through the entire diaphragm. And so let's get a little bit of camera orientation here. All right, so back to the thumb here. You can see I'm definitely causing a disruption in the way that the blood's flowing. You can see it's red, okay? And so if you're just like really paying attention to their face, if you're paying attention to the temperature in the room, if you're paying attention to the way that the breath is moving, these are all just ways that you're communicating with the innate of their body, okay? The innate intelligence of the nervous system, which is the master controller of everything. And of course, verbal communication always. Now, it's finding the diaphragm and the gallbladder is a little bit complicated, you know, mid-clavicular line. So here's the mid-clavicular line. It comes down to where the sixth of the rib is in the middle. It's basically like if you were to cut this in half, you'll find it right there, 1.5 inches over, 2 inches up. There's a lot of different ways to find it. But really, as an amateur, what I would suggest is while you're working the thumb, you just probe underneath of the entire rib cage, okay? So now I'm gonna hold her right hand with my left hand right here like that. And then just very gentle. If this is the first time you've ever done this with someone, like you have to be, you know, communicate. Okay, I'm gonna palpate your abdomen now, okay? I'm gonna touch your abdomen now, okay? Just let me know if there's any pain here. Let me know how it feels. And then just as slow and gentle as you can, you just use your fingers and you go until you find resistance. Resistance will just feel like resistance. It'll just stop. Like it's easy to push, it's easy to push, it's easy to push, it's getting more difficult. Here comes the tension, boom, that's the end range. And like when I hit that, her body like, boom, it just like, you can feel how intricate the work is with your fingers and their body. It's intricate, it's sacred. It's like it's meant to be this way. Like there are so many things that just fit together, and the way that the hands work on the body, well, it's intelligent design, just like everything else that you see when you open your eyes and you walk outside. Everything you see is the result of intelligent design, even if human beings designed it, because we are a part of intelligent design.
I'm feeling that all over.
All over head to toe?
Feel it here, all over my chest up here.
Left side?
Both sides.
Okay.
Over here as well.
Okay, let's keep communicating then. That's nice. Thanks for communicating. Keep breathing. Nice, gentle, soft breathing. I definitely am hitting something very,
yeah, you are.
I don't know what do you want to call it.
Not very pleasant.
Yeah, it's angry a little bit. And so what I'm going to do now is aid the draining process. And so we're going to go right underneath the rib. And so like this is the area of where you will find the gallbladder. But then there's a duct. And the duct comes down, the gallbladder duct comes down, and it drains into the duodenum in something called the ampulla of Vater. And so it's just like this small little tube that comes down in this direction. And we're just following that tube into the duodenum. And then right there, it's just a little bit more firm. And so, you know, if you're at home and you're working with someone and, you know, you're watching this video and you just follow that path from superior to inferior, from top to bottom. And then when you find something that's firm, like right there, just stop and say hi to it and watch the person breathe, and you feel your own breath. And then healing is really all about the other person. You just really put all of your intention, all of your thoughts, all of your love. You could pray, mantra, whatever it is, Qigong, Tai Chi, all of it. Like if you want to do Qigong, and it becomes about the person. You don't even exist when you're doing healing. You don't exist. A lot of people will say, okay, you're a conduit and it's coming through you. Okay, fine, maybe on one dimension that's true. But really, it's their body knows what to do. The intelligence is already there. The medicine is inside of that person. And so we're just acting as...
I can really feel that draining.
Stimulation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hear it. It's starting. Okay, so I'm gonna do so this is actually, I was gonna teach something else, but this is what needs to be done right now. So I'm gonna skip the lesson because this actually has to happen right now. This is called the gallbladder pump. And so this actually comes from the liver pump method. So what we're gonna do here, you've seen me do the liver pump before. I contact the side of the rib cage right here. There's two movements. There's medial, inferior, and then back lateral. So we go like this, but we're gonna do this while contacting the meridian. There we go. I don't have a fancy microphone hooked up for the live yet, but it'll come. But it definitely had a nice release just there. And so after the release, we do something called the postganglionic endpoint. So we're going to contact that same meridian, and then we're going to contact the trapezius muscle and give the trapezius muscle a squeeze. Everyone loves to get their trapezius muscle squeezed. If you walk up behind someone and start massaging their shoulders. Part of the reason for this is because the trapezius muscle is innervated by the spinal accessory nerve, which is a cranial nerve. And so All 626 muscles in the body are innervated by spinal nerves, and there are only 12 cranial nerves, which innervate mostly just your eyes and your nose and your tongue, swallowing, all the good stuff, you know, in your head. But these two muscles, the SCM muscle, the one in the front of the neck, and then the trapezius muscle, are innervated by the spinal accessory nerve, cranial nerve 11. And so that's a really special thing to have 2 out of 626 muscles. The only 2 are innervated by a cranial nerve, a nerve that comes off of the brain and not off of the spinal cord. And so we always end all of these with the postganglionic endpoint. And then this feels much softer in here. I am encouraging people at home to do this with people that you love. Do it to yourself too. I mean, you can't really do it all to yourself, but doing it to yourself is really helpful as well. Having it done to you is also very helpful, and that might be hard because not a lot of people do it. But you know, there's people out there. It's hard to find people. I know it's tough. That should be the next video I do, is how to find people.
Go on a search for them.
Yeah, web scraping. Hey Siri. Okay. Okay. So let's move to the other side of the abdomen now. Okay, so now we're gonna use the other side. Now, the same point in between the thumb and the index finger is for the stomach meridian, okay? And so this has a nice little firm feeling to it too. It feels...
I feel that one. I feel that one more than my right one.
Okay, so this one is of more importance, you could say, if it's more tender. It could also be activated too because you just had a cookie. So maybe, who knows, maybe that's what's happening.
Maybe.
Okay. Okay, so now to find the stomach, this is halfway between the xiphoid process and the belly button. So the xiphoid process is the very bottom of the sternum, and here's the belly button. So you want to go halfway in between there, which is here. And the valve of the stomach, the pyloric sphincter, this is where the stomach empties into the duodenum, the beginning of the small intestine. The valve opens from left to right, so you're always pulling it in this direction. Now valves are a bundle of muscles. They're firm. It just is what it is. Like, you can feel it, like it's soft, 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 soft. And then when you get to a valve, especially one that's overactive, like when we get down to the ileocecal valve, you can feel those things. And you can also feel, amazingly, when you contact them, this one will change. So when you contact the stomach, it's so crazy how quickly it happens to me. This is one of the most amazing things. It's because this is the end point. This is the overflow point. The hand is where things have overflowed to. Like, this is so backed up here in tension. It's backed up in sympathetic tone, the nervous system that is the fight or flight. And so we want to turn the parasympathetics on always. That's the feed or breed system. We want you to be relaxed. Feed and breed is when you heal. Feed and breed is when you digest your food. Feed and breed is how you make babies that are healthy. Sympathetic, fight or flight, keeping you scared, nothing happens there except for your adrenal glands get overworked and you release cortisol levels, and then you store more fat and you burn more brain cells. It's just, that's it. It's how you create sickness and disease in your body, is being in sympathetic mode all the time. So it really just takes a couple of deep breaths, and it really just takes moments of awareness and recognition that we're the perfect distance away from the sun in order for any of this to happen. And that is absolute magic. And if it's not magic, then it's a type of unconditional love that we are not even conscious of. To create a universe, it must be done by a type of unconditional love that we can't even it's not even, there's no words, it's ineffable. Like, maybe if you fall in love with someone, you can have a little bit of that. Or maybe if you look at your parents in a way that you love, maybe if you look at a child that you make, you could almost kind of capture a tiny little fraction, infinitesimal essence of what it's like to craft enough unconditional love to create a universe. I don't know. In the meantime, we just have to continue redirecting our attention back into the person that you're working on, because healing in Reiki is always about the person on the table. So we're holding on to the valve here. And we're holding on to the point in the hand as well. Rechecking my position. Good, it's right here. I'm right on top of the valve. It is active now. Good, the thumb is loosening up. Always from left to right. How's that feeling there?
Much better.
Okay, now, very good. Okay, so those are 2 points, and let's put those back down here. Now, there's several things that we work on underneath of we work on the floor of the diaphragm here, which is the floor of the heart is right there, the central tendon, which wraps around the pericardium. The splenic flexure is where the transcending colon goes into the descending colon. It's the turn in the colon, which is very noisy most of the time. And also the floor of the spleen is right there at the splenic flexure. And so we work on the spleen, the heart, and then the pancreas goes across the middle as well. The pancreas, we go from this hand right here, and we find the pancreas points are on the bottom of the thumb. We're not going to do that right now. And then the heart points are also in the thumb pad down here, but we're not going to do that right now. Right now, I'm just going to show you guys something very general that you've seen me do 1,000 million billion times. And I'm telling you that you can do this to people that you love and help them. It's just very, very gentle. Just find the bottom of the rib cage here and the sternum, right? So you have the breastbone is right here. The bottom of the sternum is right there. And then just starting from right there, just very gently scooping up underneath of the rib cage. Any like massage therapy points? Like how do they teach you to do this in the massage therapy? How do you do it as a massage therapist?
I always start at the left lower quadrant because I work with the digestive system. And I want to make sure I'm starting at the end and then work from the end to the very beginning.
Okay, very good.
For the diaphragm part, I just kind of follow after I do the intestines and stuff. I just follow around the same thing. Start on the left and go to right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, but like what I mean is, what kind of strokes do you use when you're using the diaphragm? I mean, like I like to just like find the bottom of the diaphragm.
I find and I'll sit there for a minute. I'll sit and wait.
Oh, you do some holding?
I'll do some holding. Yeah. After some holds, I'll do some moves. Mm-hmm. And then I'll do some more gliding stuff.
Cool. Yeah, with the breath is really good too. Holding with the breath and using belly breath is very effective and gentle because then the person is controlling the pressure with their breath, and they'll guide or gatekeep their own breath in order to create their own comfort. And then sometimes you want to bring people just a little bit past their comfort zone with this. Also, too, this is not medical advice. I want to say that if someone has crazy medical conditions, if someone has had crazy trauma to their gut, if they've ever had any conditions like cancer, or if they have pancreatitis, or if they have diabetes, or if they have, let's see, if someone asked before if you don't have a gallbladder, should you do it? If you have gallstones, you should not do it. But a missing gallbladder or a gallbladder that's been taken out is not a contraindication. You still can do this very gently to people. Just be careful. If someone is in a severe medical condition, it's not the time to start practicing this kind of stuff. If you're at home and you're young and you're healthy, if you're in your 20s or 30s, you're relatively healthy, this is great to practice on. If you have major conditions, then you just show up to my channel when I do live videos and ask me questions, and I'll guide you through it. Because that's I think the new.
I feel that.
You feel that one right there, right? Yeah, one of the manuals for this work describes this as clearing out the cobwebs. And so a lot of times with the diaphragm, once you find these points, you pull it down, right, through the belly, down, and then towards the feet, down and down. So it's in and down. This is the cobweb clearing stroke. This is what I meant earlier, like how do you do this as a massage therapist? Like what kind of stroke do you use? So it's like down and away, down and out.
Yes, it's that movement.
Good. Good, it's very nice. All right, it's very helpful to have range of motion in your rib cage because All of this is incredibly important. This is why this year, I've had 2 patients get off of diabetes medications. One of them got off of one medication, and he's now on no diabetes medications. I have another patient who was on 2 types of diabetes medications, but through working on this, he was able to get off of one of them. And if he didn't eat sugar all the time, he'd get off the other one too. Not everything can be fixed with this, obviously, but there are some people who have restrictions in their rib cage and their pelvis, those restrictions, fascial restrictions, that change the way that their body wall is shaped. And since organs are attached to the body wall, you can put a kidney or a pancreas into traction, into stress, and you can change the way that an organ functions by putting stress on it. And so, you know, chiropractors for 100 years have just been working on the spine and working on the back. And it's just like, there is so much here to work on. And why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we go and find the places where there's restrictions and relieve them? Misalignments, myofascial misalignments, myofascial tensions that cause, really, misalignments is not really a great word. I would prefer asymmetrical tensions. Whew. And then to get really deep into it, man, it's really next level stuff, because the asymmetrical tensions in the body, they are called aberrant afferentations. And what that means is that when you have a tight muscle over here and a loose muscle over here, the nerves from those muscles, they hit the spinal cord, they go through the spinal nerves and hit the spinal cord in different ways. So like the information coming from over here says this is tight, and the information coming from over here says this is loose. And the way that information interacts at a biochemical level triggers the sympathetic nervous system and causes vasoconstriction. And so you have less blood flow to organs that are being bombarded with this aberrant afferentation. This is really, really deep how chiropractic actually works, and was seen with a very brilliant chiropractor named Dan Murphy, who did a review of something called the Windsor Autopsies. Really deep chiropractic stuff. If you really want to get into that, we can leave some links. Okay, but the splenic flexure feels a little bit better up here, but it's still talking. So let's do this. Let's do some deep belly breaths. Good. There's a really big release on that one. I'm just be surprised if it didn't quite clear it all. There's still a little bit more left. Let's try again. In breath. Out. Very nice. Excuse me, that was me. That was you. Okay, so that's called entrainment. It's a quantum physics. What do you say? Concept of quantum physics is quantum entanglement. When 2 people sit next to each other for long enough, their hearts start beating at the same time. And I can't even talk about it. I get so emotional, like my throat closes up, because I'm just like, I read so many books about this, and it actually happens in reality.
Mm-hmm. It does happen.
Quantum entanglement, which has been demonstrated many, many times on my channel. There's videos of me doing it 100 times, where the thing that's happening inside of you is happening inside of me, and the thing that's happening inside of me is happening inside of you, and that's happening with all of us all the time, everywhere, all over the place. You actually don't have to be right next to someone for it to happen. That's called non-local entanglement. If 2 people have been entangled before, even when they separate, they remain entangled. So, you know, you feel people. You know who feels people? Dogs feel people. There's tons of experiments where the dogs just know.
They know when their humans aren't in good shape. Oh, yeah. Wow. It's really neat. I never heard that before. Can my birds feel me?
I don't know an answer to that, but if I were gonna speculate about it and rant about it, I would have to say that anything alive, well, I would say yes, because the first quantum entanglement experiments actually were done with plants. So they showed that plants were able to change their electromagnetic frequencies based on what was happening around them, and they were entangled with the quantum fields of other biological life forms. Not even just humans, but like you put plants next to plants and like they feel each other, so to speak.
It's getting better.
Yep. Moving along.
This work always makes me feel so good.
It's cleansing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get you.
I get so much out of it. It's crazy. I just feel so much more light afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. And you will too if you do it to yourself, and if you get it done to you. This kind of work. This is actually why it's still stuck up here. Is all the way down here. It's the very bottom of the descending colon. Just a little bit. The car honking outside tells me that I'm in the right spot now.
Yep.
So, again, you know, when you put a camera, the one thing about having a YouTube channel that's always been kind of a catch-22 is that when you put a camera in the room, it takes away from the magic in a way. And there have been countless times where I turn the camera off and then all of a sudden the greatest thing in the world happens and then it's lost forever, and that's fine. It wasn't meant to be, but things change when the camera turns on. And it's because it's like having an observer in the room, and you have to really prepare consciously and create the right space for it. So I appreciate you helping me make that space tonight. Appreciate everyone out there who's watching. This is Chiropractic Medicine. This is our first live video ever on chiropractic medicine. There's lots of live videos on the channel 2, Pain Relief Chiropractic. Oh, there we go. And channel 3, Chiropractic Care and Education, which is an upcoming channel, 2026. Lots of live free advice, question answering there. In the future, chiropractic medicine, we're going to see some membership opportunities where we can get BTS. Like right now, I'd like to do some instructional videos for people who are interested, and to just get a little deeper with the work here. We need to evolve. Everything is constantly changing all the time, and finding meaning and purpose at a deeper level, deeper frequencies, could possibly be why we're here. Okay, so once again, thank you very much, everybody who showed up tonight. I really appreciate you. And I'm going to check out your questions later, and then we'll, after I end this feed, I'm going to go through these questions, and if there's anything that you guys have further, we're going to make some more videos on it. I appreciate you being here for the last 42 minutes and the last 4.5 years. You have no idea how much gratitude and love I have for all of you, so thank you very much. I do appreciate you. Okay, have a good night. Be safe. Be well. Thank you, thank you, thank you.